do we get? Get some t-shirts. T-shirts from Fair Indigo. That's an interesting bird. Let me tell you about these t-shirts that I got. I had this idea that when I go to Germany, I'll just wear black the whole time, which I've kind of already moved away from because I love color. But I wanted to just have an easy way of never having to worry about what I'm going to wear. So, of course, that wasn't a reason to order some black stuff, even though I have quite a few. But this is my problem. But it's okay. I don't mind. I'm glad that I have these black t-shirts from a good place. Fair Indigo is a good place as opposed to a bad place. Maybe some of you know that Fair Indigo is, I think they used to work at Land's End, and then they kind of went away, and now they're kind of known for fair trade clothes. And I really like that stuff. When I'm retired, that's all I'm going to wear, Fair Indigo. I'm thrifted, maybe. So yeah, that was interesting. So our realtor who sold us this house 10 years ago, more than 10 years ago, he's the most reliable correspondent because he always keeps in touch. And this is such a cute car with the pug. They're kind of like maybe my second favorite after corgis. I just think it's cute because St. Paddy's Day is going to be on Tuesday. Okay, that was funny. Hey, it's Mr. T making his first appearance on the vlog. Hey, buddy, how's it going? And there's Shirley is doing quite well actually with her diabetes. I apologize for the awfulness of our house. The fridge is disgusting. It needs to be cleaned. I'm trying to not show it. We need a new fridge. Bill, we need a new fridge. We need a new door. I noticed when I filmed out there how creaky that door is. That's another thing on our list. Meanwhile, here's Shirley and here's her sister Laverne. Hi, baby. Hi, baby. Oh, no, she definitely doesn't like when you do the hand thing. Yeah, you don't like that. You don't like that. Oh, don't do that. And who do we have here? Who do we have here? The queen, the diva, Miss Lily. She's so cute. Hi, baby. She sure likes a little perch. Yeah, she likes a little perch. She likes a little perch. Miss, do you want to go outside? No more Opus. Opus run away. We don't have an Opus anymore. Bye. That bird is interesting. Is it like a cardinal making that noise? Who's making that noise? Okay, time for some coffee. Coffee. Quite funny. Hi, babes. You turned around. You're so cute. You're so cute. Bill, we need a fridge. We've needed a fridge for a long time. Get on it. You guys look like you want something. What could you possibly want? Huh? You're cute. Shirley. She's like, Mama, feed me. I'm hungry. Laverne. Well, he went outside, so I think you gotta wait a little bit. We'll see. Shirley, what's with the wide stance? Looks kind of weird. Here's my coffee. This is the oldest cup I own, probably. I got this when I first moved to Evanston, Illinois, to go to Northwestern in early 90s. 92 is when I moved there, and I think I got it like the first year. It's an old cup. It's like 30 years old. 30-something. It's a 30-something cup. I still like it though. It's got a cat on it. They're like, no. We've only had how many?
No.
Couple.
Not that many, sweetie, maybe. Actually, just two. This will be number 3.
Number 3. No, it's not too bad. They get little bits. Everyone loves Mr. T. Everyone loves Mr. Fisticuffs. Laverne. She doesn't like it. No, she doesn't like it. Don't do that.
Laverne likes playing rough.
She doesn't like it. she's told you that. These two, on the other hand, are like, oh, we love each other. I love him too. Oh, you guys. But Laverne loves him the most. Laverne loves him the most. Yeah. The pre-food little interactions are cute. Yes, they're cute. Cute. Oh, yeah. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I am the Grim Reader, Kathy Grimm, and this is sort of like a vlog, sort of like you're gonna have some cat and me taking a postcard out to the mailbox footage. Super exciting, I know. But I did want to do a little check-in now as the semester progresses and as it becomes more a reality that I am leaving my job and I can sort of start really planning a little bit more what I want to do with the channel and everything. So this is not going to be a very formal announcement, but I'm having ideas about not exactly sort of making the brand a little bit more cohesive. You know, I'm fine with Grim Reader and all that, but since I do talk a lot about other stuff, not just books, like specifically my health, I kind of want to maybe add a subtitle. Anyway, that's all stuff that will happen eventually. And also the fact that let me just tell you what's going on. So it's March and the teaching's going fine, but I'm really suffering with my pains. I just remembered I haven't taken my one pain pill yet, which I'm not going to do right now. I'll just talk and take it maybe afterwards. I try and hold off as much as possible, but I have what I would call, it's all just from not moving enough and being a little bit stressed from work, neuropathic pain down the sides of my legs, and it's starting to hurt on the other side, partly because I sit the wrong way. So one thing, I have a doctor's appointment on Monday morning really early before I teach, but I'm gonna bring up to her that I really want to go back to physical therapy and perhaps try and take it the most seriously than ever before. I've had bad physical therapists and really good ones. The last one is actually a really good one. And I got, still have some of their notes as to what I should be doing. And in a way I could just do that. But I think a few sessions with a therapist to see, and maybe even, because the back pain is still, I have severe disc damage, lower down, L2, L3. And it's kind of almost bone on bone. I mean, I don't know. It's just very sore down there. And there's not that much that can be done. One thing that could be done is that I could be fitter and have a stronger core, which is kind of what I'm aiming at, but you know, baby steps per usual. But also the fact that I won't be working anymore will kind of give me more time to focus on my health, and even just things like walking every day a little bit more, or you know, just things that I have time to try. I really think water aerobics type stuff would be great, and I just would have to figure out how to sort of fit it into my schedule, because I still have issues with not wanting to overdo things and needing a lot of rest and downtime, blah, blah, blah. And so anyway, so my channel is always going to be a little bit like life stuff too. And considering that by far my most popular video, is so strange, but I guess I kind of understand it, is the one where I talk about my experience with taking duloxetine, which I've been taking religiously now, a very low dose though. Apparently one that doesn't really allow for the other effects to kick in, but it does affect my stomach too much if I take a higher dose. So anyway, I'm going to sort of perhaps have a follow-up to that, just because it seemed to be of interest to people, plus all the literary stuff that I want to do. So right now, so this won't get too long because it's going to be part of a blog. Let me talk quickly about what I'm reading in a kind of overview type, not very deep way, for time reasons. The big read is still going quite well, but it is slow, and Riders in the Chariot, and I need to do a sort of dedicated video to this fantastic work of fiction by Australian Nobel Prize winner Patrick White, because he's really done something quite special here, I think, by kind of focusing on these, I think it's going to be 4 characters in a pretty in-depth way, and they all have these visions. And right now the person that he's focused on, which is a little kind of hard to read, is this Jewish person who's going through the Holocaust. This was written in 1963, I think, so, which is my birth year. Let me check. When did he write this? Oh, 61. So a little after Faust, which I absolutely love, 57. So he's a sort of mid-20th century person. And so he's got this one of his main guys is a Jewish professor from a sort of fictional place in Germany, and who's sort of has this way of nothing ever happens to him. He's protected some in a weird way, and he's just been sort of pulled out of the line of people going to the showers. We know, so terrible. And it's hard to read that stuff, but because it's part of this fantastic novel, it's still kind of great. I do miss my first lady. She was amazing, and she was very different. She was in Australia, and at the end of that section, she meets this Jewish person in this strange nowhere place of her garden, and they start talking, and then it goes into his story, and I think it's going to go into a few other stories, and you just have to get used to the switch, and you do. And I do think that I like the Australian parts with her even more, because it was sort of more like the nature stuff was more there, and her brain, and it is with him too, but in a different way, kind of because of his life experience being so different. So I'm just fascinated to see where he'll go with this fantastic story. It's very well written. He's an excellent writer. He's in my canon of great writing, Thomas Mann. People who know me know that I'm pretty picky about that. On to my listen. So I actually did ditch a listen. I ditched Gaskell, Sylvia's Lovers, because it had a lot of regional, the narrator having to go into regional talking, and I wasn't that into the plot as much, because I had loved Wives and Daughters, which I also basically listened to, I think, and read along a little bit. But Sylvia's Lovers just kind of wasn't pulling me in as much, so I ditched that. And since I can't listen to the on the calculation of volume, I'm reading it in German. It's my other read, but I'm sort of torn between reading it, the fourth volume. I have it in German already, and this, so that's why that's stymied a little bit, although it's such a quick read. I kind of want to go back to it at some point. But my listen right now is fascinating to me. Someone who I've of course know about because of Accidental Tourist. If you know, you know. The book that he's reading in Accidental Tourist is on my shelf, Miss Mackintosh, My Darling, which is the longest novel, and I know that he carries that around. I need to read that, and it was a good movie. I remember liking the movie with William Hurt. Anyway, this is her later work, A Spool of Blue Thread, and it's just, it's so propulsive as a listen. You get pulled into this family, and the writing in the beginning I thought was somewhat cliche, like the mother's very motherly, and even her voice, the narrator, I don't know, it's a typical family in America, and so it's sort of, there are sort of points where it seems almost cliche, but then she does this thing where she hones in on certain moments of their relating to each other that go deep and become interesting. And so, and also it's the kind of listen where you just keep listening, because it's like you want to know what's going on with this family. So in that sense, she's a good writer. And I was amazed at how I sat here listening to it, like before looking at the work. And it's like, wow, so much has already happened. Where am I in this book? And it was still chapter 1. It was like a whole book in chapter 1, as far as I'm concerned, in terms of plot, the amount of plot. And yet I was still in chapter 1. And so, but that's because it sort of has this broad sweep of the family, or like broader than I anticipated or I'm used to. And so it really is a deep dive into this 20th century family, the Whitshanks, and they live around Baltimore, or in and around Baltimore. And so it's going well. And I'm going to learn a lot about the Whitshanks. I already have. And I'm going to learn a lot more. What are your experiences? If any of you out there have read Tyler, what do you think of her? She's interesting. She's written a lot, right? See, I remember I read my first Patchett, which was The Dutch House. That's Ann Patchett, right? I didn't really like it that much. I think I like this better. I just wasn't that bowled over. But newer works, there's a lot of people who I know a lot of people like I think it's Straub, or some other people that I don't care for as much. Even Geraldine, what's her name? Oh, I forget her name. She's Australian. She wrote all kinds of things. Caleb's book, Caleb something. People love her stuff too. And I read the one about the book. Sorry, I'm being vague. I apologize. I'm sort of very off the cuff here. Anyway, I didn't care for it that much. I'm picky. And I think, so yeah, the calculation of volume is on there too. And that's about it. I'm going to stop here because this is already going to add 9 minutes to the 7 minutes of adorable cats and me posting a postcard footage. It's a Saturday. But I'm excited to. The last thing I'll tell you about is how my Germany trip has become a bigger thing because I did decide to stay the whole time between the two weddings. Or the wedding party celebration and the actual wedding of my cousin at the end of June. So I'm going to be in Germany for 7 weeks. I'm going to miss my babies, but at least I'll have my sister's cat. And I'll have to see if I can find some Wiesbaden cats. And I'm staying in 3 different places because I just had already paid for the last place, so I didn't want to uncancel it. And we already have the first place, and then I'm going to stay in this really interesting place that I'll tell you about next time for the 3 weeks in between before I move into my hotel. And it's fascinating. So it's going to be a 7-week sojourn in my sister's city, which I think is really great in terms of the retirement. I'll have had my party, little gathering, and the last of the class, which is there's still aspects of the class. I mean, I've had to deal with certain annoying things from students so many times that I'm not going to get into now. But now it's sort of, in addition to that, there's AI stuff, even for me. And it's just giving me this whole thing of I'm so glad I'm retiring. And I've thought, you always think that you're immune to it because of the way I've constructed it and how they usually have to write things. And yet still I have to deal with AI BS, to be honest. And it's very annoying, and I'm really glad I'm retiring. So I'm sorry to be ranting about it, but what the heck. It's my last semester, but everything is going fine. And actually, aside from that, the class discussions have been of a very good high level, better than last year, the fairy tale class. It all hinges on us having good discussions of these texts that I have them read and think about. So anyway, I'm going to stop now. 11 plus 7 plus that's a whole vlog right there. And I hope you're all doing well. Sorry my posting has been erratic, but that will probably kind of I'll see how it goes. I mean, there is the big Germany trip coming in, but I kind of like filming in Germany. I'm usually not that busy, and it's kind of fun to walk around and show you my pastries and the streets of Wiesbaden. I mean, you've seen it before, but it's like my second home a little bit. Wiesbaden, Germany, the capital city of the state of Hessen, which is where my sister lives. She studied there a long time ago, and all the people who studied there kind of stayed there, or her friend group. I mean, that's not true. Some did move away to other places, but there's a core group of people that have all kind of settled in Wiesbaden and have become my friends too. And so now that's kind of my home base, definitely in Germany. It's not where we grew up in Germany, but it's not that far either. So it's interesting. It's a nice, really nice city. Anyway, that's enough for now, and I will maybe check in with more cat stuff. But yeah, nice. I'm excited to come back to YouTube, and then even more in a more kind of cohesive way when my big break starts. Bye. Bye.